Kids' funny learning story for training. Once upon a time, in a land not too far away, there was a little village called Sillyville. Sillyville was a place where everything was a little bit, well, silly. The people in Sillyville loved to have fun and learn in the most amusing ways possible. In Sillyville, there was a special school called the Laughter Academy. At the Laughter Academy, children learned all sorts of funny and silly things. The teachers there believed that laughter was the best way to learn, and they had a unique way of teaching the kids. One day, in a classroom filled with giggles and silly sounds, a new student named Billy joined the class. Billy was excited but a bit nervous because he didn't know what to expect. The teacher, Mrs. Tickles, welcomed Billy with open arms and a big smile. Mrs. Tickles was a jolly teacher with a funny hat and a ticklish laugh. She loved to make learning fun by using jokes, riddles, and games. She started the class by telling a joke. Why did the math book look sad? The class eagerly waited for the answer. Billy raised his hand and said, because it had too many problems. Everyone burst into laughter, including Mrs. Tickles. She clapped her hands and said, well done, Billy, you've got it. Learning can be fun when we add a little humor. Throughout the day, Mrs. Tickles taught the students different subjects using funny and interactive methods. In math, they played a game called Silly Sums, where they had to solve silly equations that involved animals and funny scenarios. In science, they conducted experiments with bubbling potions that made funny sounds and colors. During lunch break, Mrs. Tickles organized a funny food contest. The students created hilarious sandwiches with wacky combinations like peanut butter and pickles or bananas and ketchup. They all laughed as they tasted their peculiar creations. In art class, Mrs. Tickles encouraged the students to let their imagination run wild. They painted funny portraits, drew silly monsters, and made sculptures out of colorful Play-Doh. The classroom was filled with laughter and creativity. At the end of the day, Mrs. Tickles gathered the students in a circle and said, remember, my dear students, learning is a journey filled with laughter and joy. When we have fun while learning, we remember things better and become curious explorers. Billy smiled from ear to ear, realizing that learning could be an adventure full of laughter and funny moments. He knew he had found a special place where he could be himself and learn in the most delightful way. And so, every day at the Laughter Academy in Sillyville, the children continued to learn and grow, always with a smile on their faces and laughter in their hearts, the end with a giggle, with a